Good night, everybody. Today we are reading Global Times, May 12th. And of course, the most important news is about different activities related to space. It's like the cargo craft Tianzhou 10 blasts off from the Wenchang spacecraft launch site on May 11th. Oh, it's about different rockets, spaceship, yeah. It's like, how do we call it? Spacecraft. Yeah, spacecraft. But this news is the most interesting one. Yeah. Trump to pay state visit to China. We all are anticipating Trump's visit. You know, it's always interesting to anticipate. Maybe the visit itself will not be very interesting, but the anticipation, the waiting of this wonderful event makes everyone very, very thrilled. You know, just like Christmas or New Year. Christmas or New Year, that very day is very short and the time for joy is actually limited. But preparations, anticipating, waiting for that moment, for the day, makes that what makes the holiday a holiday, right? The same with Trump's visit to China. It's very rare, guys. It's very, very rare. So we all are anticipating. Just a couple of days ago, maybe it was yesterday. It was yesterday or the day before yesterday when a sudden news came, appeared on TV. Central Television said, we just received the news that Trump is going to visit China. That was a very big news. Really, really, everyone's got very excited. Well, the relationship between China and America are really, really complicated and very, very important. I don't like to say that they are the most important relationship. If we say that Sino-American relationships are the most important ones, it sounds like America is the most important country in the world. No, come on. Let's be realists. There are many relationships, are crucial relationships, not only Sino-American relationships. We only have like stereotypical thinking, like, oh, two giant countries, two superpowers, so their relationships are the most important. No, in the world, there is nothing that can be described with the word most. Everything can be important or not important, even at the same time. So the relationship between China and America are really interesting. Do you remember after the establishment of China in 1949, Mao Zedong went to Soviet Union? Why? Because at that time China chose a socialist regime. Yeah, and they needed support, of course. They needed international support. The first destination was Soviet Union. They worshipped Soviet Union at that time, 1949. And just very, very soon from establishing New China, Mao paid a visit to Soviet Union. And, at that time, it was Stalin who was the leader of Soviet Union. And I'm telling you, the relationships between the countries were not ideal, far from ideal. Many people believed that they had great relationship, especially when people would see photographs or some videos when people in China were holding portraits or pictures of Stalin and yelling like, "Oh, Stalin, you are our leader," la 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 la. But to be honest, from the political perspective, even the meeting itself, the meeting between Mao and Stalin was a disaster. It was really a disaster, and it almost led to a conflict. And the relationships were not really good. China was always trying to establish good relationship. Why? Because China was a new country. They needed support. And at that time, Soviet Union was really, if not the first, maybe the second important country in the world. Because they won World War II. They have been through World War II. They've been through a lot of stuff. They were developed. And China just started everything anew, from zero, from scratch. Of course, China wanted that kind of support, but that arrogant Soviet Union government, and especially Joseph Stalin, they didn't really want to help, especially when Korean War outbroke. It was very obvious. It was preparation for war between Western world and socialist world, in particular America against Soviet Union. But the place was chosen very, very embarrassing. So it was just near China's border. So what should Chinese do? Just the next year after establishing of New China, China decided, guys, no way. We gotta take part in this war. Otherwise, the territory will be occupied by capitalists. And that's not good. That's not good. You know that there should be some zones that should separate some larger powers from each other. So it was very important to take part in that war. So capitalists hit from the south of Korean Peninsula, socialists hit from the north of Korean Peninsula. And it turned out to be that it was actually the war between America and China. Wow, China didn't want it. But China didn't have any other choice, any other option. And at that time, Soviet Union didn't actually help China. Yes, there is evidence of some help, but from the perspective of war, war, there should be support like soldiers, jets, tanks. No, nothing. China did everything, almost everything, by itself. And it was really, really hard, really, really tough how they survived and how they actually managed to get the half of North Korea and hit capitalists back. That was just a miracle. Because if you look at the proportion of the forces, the capitalists had everything. Money and equipment, military artillery. China didn't have even pants or shoes for soldiers. And China did as good as Americans. So it's perfect. So some experts say that China actually even won that war. I would agree because, it was a tie. It was a peaceful agreement. Yeah. Ceasefire agreement. But generally speaking, if you have if you analyze the strength of both parties, you will see, man, what China did was actually miraculous. Well, and America lost their face, Okay, let's see. After all those very tough relationship with China and Soviet Union, there was even situation got even worse. When the new leader came to power in Soviet Union, it was Khrushchev. Khrushchev had even worse relationship with China, and at that time it was still Mao Zedong. Mao Zedong was a cool guy. He ruled for a really long time, and I really wish he had to live at the same time with Lenin, Russian Lenin, because Lenin was the founder of everything. Yeah, he based his ideas were based on Marxism, and Mao was reading Marxism and Leninism, but unfortunately the fate gave him that, Stalin. Well, and even the next one, Khrushchev, very different guys, very different mindset. So when the relationship got worse, China started to turn their view towards America. At that time, China started to think, what if we get closer, with America? Yeah, if we are so far with Russia right now, with Soviet Union, why not to get closer with America? Idea was a bit crazy. Because they were open capitalists. But why not? And that was one of the miracles in China when they actually went through turbulence, political turbulence, domestic, different protests on the streets and whatever, but they saved their political regime. That's what Soviet Union couldn't do. Soviet Union didn't make it. It was, also kind of a pity because great unions are great. So, for example, Soviet Union is a really great idea. The same with American, United States of America. It's also a great idea. I don't want to say that I'm choosing some sides, ideological sides. No, I'm just telling you, great unions is a good idea. Like Soviet Union is a good idea. United States of America is a good idea. European Union is a good idea. So I like these big unions, but unfortunately something didn't work in Soviet Union and they collapsed. China saved their regime, but they turned economics into a new direction. They accepted a lot of capitalist features, and even now it's a combination between capitalism and socialism. And mostly, just for unprofessional people, it looks exactly like capitalism, because you can open your company here, you can get a lot of profit here and whatever, just like a normal capitalist boss. Yeah, there are some details, of course, how you pay the taxes, how you allocate the money, the final profit. Yeah, the money goes actually to the people in China. The money, part of the profit, obligatory. Yeah, it goes to the people for some public goods. In America, it's a bit different. Wow, at that time it was a new leader in China who made this opening policy. It was Mr. Deng Xiaoping. Yeah, Deng Xiaoping. He went to America because he was invited by President Carter. Carter was an amazing guy. It was the first time since China's establishment in 1949 who invited and welcomed very, very warmly a representative of China. That was really amazing. At that time, Deng Xiaoping put on his cowboy hat in America and he said, "Yes, guys, we are with you." That was amazing. The same situation you can see like in new Russia after Soviet Union collapsed, when Yeltsin also said, "Yes, we are friends with America." But that was different. Because China preserved their political regime and ideology, and Russia, they changed their regime into democratic, and they wanted to look exactly like America. Again, that didn't work. See, Soviet Union didn't work and new Russia didn't work. So that's why they have new, more authoritarian regime under Putin. It's a different style. It's a kind of third version of Russia in very short period of time. Not Soviet Union, not democratic Russia, and kind of new authoritarian Russia. But China keeps to its ideology from the beginning until this very day. So, though the economic relationships with America are really good, and China and America are really nice partners. For China especially, America is the biggest partner, and it's great, I think, because a lot of people can earn money, and that's amazing. But recently, because China is getting really good. Yeah, I'm really sorry, guys. China is getting awesome, amazing. They're not just producing. Before they were producing a lot, producing and polluting the air and the water. Now, no, not like that. They are continuing producing. The quality is super. You can buy different products made in China and the quality will be wow. And for relatively lower prices, lower prices. And China is fighting with pollution. For example, for the last 10 years here in Beijing, the air became from, for example, a gray sky into clear blue sky. That's amazing. I think no country in the world can do that. I'm very sure about that. And about water pollution, there are a lot of filters here and there are a lot of regulations that do not allow you to pollute the water. And factories are changing into different other ways of production. A lot of coal mines are being closed because it's really stupid to drill baby drill, whatever. If it's, I know, drill baby drill, it's about oil. I know it's about oil, but some politicians, for example, American President Trump, he wanted to use coal too, but I think coal is a little bit, out of date. Yeah, too old. Yeah, out of date. So in China, coal mines are closing. I visited some of such closed coal mines, and they made resorts for people just to have rest. There are hotels there, amazing landscape. Sometimes it's in the mountains, sometimes there are trees, lakes, beautiful. See, this is Chinese wisdom. Chinese know how to earn money. Perfect. And recently, because of that, because China is getting better and better, green energy and what, America doesn't know what to do. So even the previous Biden administration didn't pay a visit to China. Though they met each other, but they met in San Francisco. American presidents don't really like to come here to China. And last time it was in 2017. It was also Trump. So the second time since that time, after 9 years, can you imagine? After 9 years, again, the same Trump is coming here again. At that time it was Trump number 1. Now it's Trump number 2, like 2.0. Yeah. Well, everybody is anticipating this meeting because we know what America wants. Because America is really tough these days. They like to command. They like to dictate. So if I say they're dictators, yeah, it's not because they're like Hitler or whatever. But dictator comes from the word dictate. An American president is actually dictating. He says, for example, I don't like a Venezuelan leader, I want to capture him. Or I don't like Iranian regime, I'm gonna bomb and kill more than 40 high top-level politicians. Or, oh, I don't like Cuban government, I want to just to do whatever I can do with Cuba. Oh, guys, I want to take Greenland. He likes to dictate. So he is practically, he is a dictator. Okay, let's accept it. Well, but China is not like that. China is very practical. Wow, so practical. No emotions. I was just reading these articles in English and in Chinese. It's the same. Very practical. They only display like what areas are like the most interesting areas for cooperation, what will be discussed, and China is welcoming America just every day, as if there are no tensions at all. No tensions. And even the Russian president said it would be good to establish wonderful relationships between America and China. It's, recently I've noticed that China and Russia are behaving even a bit better than America. Yeah, America is trying to stay away from negotiations. Though they always say they're negotiating, but in reality, they're not negotiating. They aren't. They want to, again, dictate. They want to dictate, for example, this is going to be like this is going to be like that. That's why it's very difficult. Well, what about the most sensitive topics? Of course, Taiwan. Taiwan is a very sensitive topic. In my previous videos, I already was talking about it. What is Taiwan? Taiwan is the result of so-called civil war in China, and the previous government was overthrown. And they fled to Taiwan Island. So it was the same China, the same people, but it was the previous former government. It was overthrown because, they didn't help people anyhow. It was hunger and people were dying, right? And communists took control and started to build new China, strong China, independent China. And, a lot of countries did not recognize new communist government. A lot of Western countries continued to recognize that previous government as the official government. And in time, people started to call it Taiwan government, and sometimes people even call it Taiwan as a country. But it's bullshit, because we know it was the previous government that was overthrown. And before they fled, they even took away a lot of treasures from Forbidden City. And they built a new Forbidden City in Taiwan, like on Taiwan Island. that is really fancy, very big and beautiful, and it has very, very important items inside, artifacts, because they stole everything. What a shame, right? What a shame. But thanks to them, at least that they remember Chinese culture. Yeah, in my previous videos, I also told you that some Taiwan officials, they worship Japan, worship Japanese colonists. They want to be like puppets of America. They want to call America daddy or big brother, like that. Come on, it's not serious. It's not serious. That government is not qualified at all. And luckily, according to all the laws, international law and all agreements in the world, all countries recognize Taiwan as official part of China. Wow, that's good. I really want to say thanks God, even America recognizes that. Everyone recognizes that. So why is it a big problem? Because they still have this thinking how to hurt China, how to make it weaker. It's one of the main strategies of America, how to make China weaker, just continuously pushing this sensitive topic forward and saying, oh, maybe it's a country, maybe Taiwan can get independence, or maybe this, maybe that. So they also pay a lot of money to Japan, and Japan is saying the same stuff like, oh, now we're gonna help militarily just to help Taiwan as a country, all this bullshit. But we will see, because Trump is coming very soon, tomorrow night, and I really want to see what will happen, because this is a really sensitive topic. We all know that Taiwan is official part of China. Yeah, what will happen? We'll see tomorrow. Of course, they will talk about AI. AI is very sensitive, because I made an analysis. I asked ChatGPT and DeepSeek. I ask them to compare which AI is stronger, and it's a tie. It's a tie. Both AIs, American and Chinese, are almost the same. It's hard to evaluate which one is stronger, which one is weaker. That's why AI is going to be another hot topic. Well, of course, they will talk about green energy. Every time Trump says, no, we're gonna promote traditional energy like coal or like oil from Venezuela and Iran, something like that. But at the same time, he understands that to make like green cars, electric cars, is also very important. Yeah, so he needs like Elon Musk's support. Elon, quickly support Trump, otherwise it's going to be a disaster. Well, we're all anticipating, and I hope that there will be no surprises from American side, because China is not like China in 2017 when Trump first visited it. It's new China, it's upgraded China, it's prepared China. So no tricks, no bullshit, just business talk. And I heard that in these articles, I read that Trump is gonna bring a very, very large group of specialists like economists and even some CEOs of really big companies like Apple, Boeing, and whatever. So he's gonna bring a huge delegation, and all of them are businessmen, or economists. Let's see. The guy wants to do business. Amazing. Welcome to China. I think it's a good sign. Yeah, we're all waiting for Trump, and we're all waiting looking forward to seeing great cooperation between two wonderful countries, the best countries in the world. Yeah. Okay. Good night, everybody.